Imagine your brain slowly dissolving from the inside out while you're still awake. That's not science fiction. That's what actually happens when you push your body past its breaking point. In 1965, a teenager named Randy Gardner did something that nearly killed him and shocked the entire medical community. He stayed awake for 11 straight days, and what happened to his body and mind during those final 72 hours was so terrifying that scientists banned this type of experiment forever. By the end of this video, you'll discover the exact timeline of what happens to your body when you hit that critical 7-day mark without sleep, and why your brain starts eating itself alive. Trust me, what I'm about to show you will change how you think about staying up late forever. Let's start with what most people don't know about sleep. Your brain doesn't just shut down when you sleep, it goes into full cleanup mode. Every single night, your brain literally washes itself with cerebrospinal fluid, flushing out toxic proteins that build up during the day. Miss one night of sleep, and these toxins start accumulating like garbage in a blocked drain. But here's where it gets interesting. Your body can actually survive longer without food than without sleep. You can go 30 to 40 days without eating, but just 7 days without sleep. That's when things get dangerously weird. Day 1 without sleep feels manageable. You're tired, maybe a little cranky, but your adrenaline keeps you going. Your reaction time slows down by about 50%, making you as impaired as someone who's legally drunk. But your brain is already starting to panic. It begins releasing stress hormones like cortisol, flooding your system with chemicals that were meant for short-term emergencies, not extended abuse. By day 2, your body temperature regulation goes haywire. You'll feel cold one minute, burning up the next. Your immune system starts shutting down non-essential functions to conserve energy. Those white blood cells that fight off infections, they're running at about 30% capacity now. A simple cold could knock you out completely. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Your brain starts having microsleeps without your permission. These are tiny 2 to 3 second blackouts where your brain literally forces itself to rest. You won't even notice them happening, but if you're driving or operating machinery, these microsleeps can be deadly. It's like your brain is screaming, "I need to shut down," but your consciousness keeps overriding the emergency protocols. Day 3 is where Randy Gardner's experiment started getting scary, and it's where most sleep deprivation studies have to stop for safety reasons. His speech became slurred, his memory fractured, and he couldn't complete simple tasks like basic math problems. But the most disturbing part? He started seeing things that weren't there. Sleep deprivation hallucinations aren't like movie hallucinations. They're subtle and terrifying because they feel completely real. You might see shadow people in your peripheral vision, hear conversations that aren't happening, or feel bugs crawling on your skin. Your brain, desperate for the dream state it's been denied, starts mixing reality with dream imagery while you're still awake. By day 4, your brain's frontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and rational thinking, starts shutting down. This is why sleep-deprived people make increasingly dangerous choices. You lose the ability to assess risk properly. That voice in your head that says, "This is a bad idea," gets quieter and quieter until it disappears completely. Your metabolism goes completely insane around this time too. Your body starts producing excessive amounts of the hunger hormone ghrelin while suppressing leptin, the hormone that tells you when you're full. You'll crave high-calorie, high-sugar foods obsessively, but your body can't process them properly. It's like your internal chemistry lab has gone completely rogue. Now here's where it gets absolutely terrifying, and why I need to tell you about what happens at the 7-day mark. But first, let me share something that'll shock you about what's happening inside your skull right now. Day 5 brings something called sleep deprivation psychosis. This isn't just being tired and cranky. This is a complete break from reality. Randy Gardner became convinced that a radio host was personally targeting him with insults. He couldn't recognize his own reflection in the mirror. His brain, starved of REM sleep, began creating its own reality to fill in the gaps. Your brain waves at this point look almost identical to someone having a seizure. The electrical activity becomes chaotic and unpredictable. Different parts of your brain start falling asleep independently, while others remain hyperactive. It's like having an orchestra where half the musicians are unconscious, while the other half play at triple speed. Day 6 is where most animals in sleep deprivation experiments die. Yes, die. Laboratory rats kept awake for extended periods develop severe hypothermia. Their immune systems completely collapse, and they literally die from sleep deprivation. Their brains show massive cellular damage that looks almost like they've been poisoned. But here's the part that kept me awake at night. Researching this, what happens to the human brain at exactly the 7-day mark is so disturbing that it changed everything we know about consciousness itself. At day 7 without sleep, your brain begins a process called autophagy, but not the good kind. This is when your brain cells literally start eating themselves to survive. The toxic proteins that have been building up for a week become so concentrated that your neurons begin breaking down their own cellular components just to function. It's cellular cannibalism happening inside your skull. Your hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for forming new memories, shows damage similar to what we see in Alzheimer's patients. You won't just forget what happened yesterday. You'll lose the ability to form new memories entirely. Every conversation becomes like meeting someone for the first time over and over again. The scariest part? Your brain's blood-brain barrier begins breaking down. This barrier is what protects your brain from toxins in your bloodstream. When it fails, harmful substances that should never reach your brain tissue start flooding in. It's like the security system of your most important organ just shut off completely. Randy Gardner, during his final days of the experiment, experienced something that haunts sleep researchers to this day. He would stand perfectly still for minutes at a time, completely unresponsive, with his eyes wide open. His brain was essentially offline, while his body remained upright. He was caught between being awake and being unconscious, a state that shouldn't exist in human biology. By day 7, your body temperature becomes completely unstable. You'll experience hypothermia and hyperthermia within hours of each other. Your heart rhythm becomes irregular and dangerous. Your liver and kidneys start showing signs of failure as they can't keep up with processing the massive amounts of stress hormones flooding your system. But here's what researchers discovered that changes everything we thought we knew about sleep. The damage doesn't stop when you finally sleep again. Some of the cellular damage in your brain becomes permanent. Those neurons that started eating themselves, many of them don't recover. The connections between brain cells that were severed during the sleep deprivation remain broken. Studies following up on extreme sleep deprivation cases found increased rates of early-onset dementia, chronic depression, and anxiety disorders years later. Your brain ages decades in just 1 week of sleep deprivation. It's like fast-forwarding through brain aging at 50 times the normal speed. The most chilling discovery came from brain scans of people who had survived extended sleep deprivation. Their brains showed permanent structural changes, areas of tissue that had literally shrunk and never recovered their original size. The damage looks almost identical to what we see in traumatic brain injury patients. Now, you might be thinking, but I've pulled all-nighters before and felt fine. Here's the thing. 1 night without sleep causes damage, but your brain can usually repair it. 2 nights starts pushing your limits, but recovery is still possible. 3 nights, and you're in dangerous territory. But 7 days, that's when the damage becomes irreversible. Randy Gardner's story ended better than it should have. After sleeping for 14 hours straight, he seemed to recover completely. But recent follow-up studies on extreme sleep deprivation subjects show cognitive deficits that persist for decades. Their brains never fully return to baseline function. Here's something that'll change how you think about your phone at bedtime forever. The blue light from screens doesn't just keep you awake. It actively damages your brain's natural repair systems. Even 1 hour of bright screen exposure before bed reduces your deep sleep by up to 23%. And deep sleep is when that crucial brainwashing process happens. Skip that cleaning cycle night after night, and you're slowly poisoning your own brain. Your brain produces a protein called amyloid beta throughout the day. This protein, when it builds up, is directly linked to Alzheimer's disease. During deep sleep, your brain flushes out up to 60% of this toxic protein. Miss that sleep and you're essentially giving yourself a head start on dementia. It's like choosing to live in a house where the garbage never gets collected. The 7-day mark isn't just dangerous, it's potentially lethal. Beyond this point, your body systems start failing in cascade. Your immune system becomes so compromised that a minor infection could become life-threatening. Your cardiovascular system, stressed beyond its limits, becomes prone to dangerous arrhythmias and even cardiac arrest. But perhaps the most terrifying aspect is what happens to your sense of self. People who push past the 7-day barrier report feeling like they're watching their life from outside their body. Their personality, their memories, their very sense of being human starts to dissolve. You don't just lose sleep, you lose yourself. The good news: most of this damage is preventable with proper sleep hygiene. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep isn't just a recommendation, it's literally life support for your brain. Every night you get proper sleep, you're adding healthy years to your life and keeping your brain sharp and resilient. Here's your wake-up call. Literally. If you've been skimping on sleep, thinking you can catch up later, you can't. Sleep debt isn't like financial debt where you can just pay it back. Some of that damage accumulates permanently. The nights of sleep you've lost are gone forever, along with the brain repair they should have provided. So tonight, when you're tempted to scroll through your phone or binge-watch just one more episode, remember Randy Gardner's story. Remember that your brain is literally washing itself while you sleep, clearing out the toxins that could otherwise destroy your mind. Remember that sleep isn't time wasted. It's time invested in keeping your most precious organ healthy. Your brain has kept you alive every second of every day since the moment you were born. The least you can do is give it the 7 to 9 hours it needs to keep itself running smoothly. Because once you cross that 7-day line, there's no going back to who you were before. If this video opened your eyes to just how crucial sleep really is, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Your future self will thank you for the knowledge that might just save your brain. And click on the video I'm showing you next. It reveals another shocking truth about what happens to your body when you ignore its most basic needs. Trust me, what you'll learn next will change how you treat your body forever.